Netherlands and the term euthanasia is to address that when it was first legalized in the Netherlands, it was only for terminally ill patients for physician-assisted suicide, and the laws have since then transgressed as they became more lax. The point is to make a statement saying that if it were to be legalized here, physician-assisted suicide, that there's a chance that the United States could follow down the same path. So we're not equating the Oregon model to what is currently going on in the Netherlands, but rather what happened in the Netherlands and how that could transgress here as well. Our opponents are arguing for the legalization because they believe palliative care is an inadequate solution and the patient's desire for autonomy should be the most important. I'll be proving that PAS itself is an inadequate solution for the patient's wishing to die, and PAS is also not truly an autonomous thing. The choice may be autonomous, but the act itself is not. The Professionalism and Human Rights Committee of the American College of Physicians said that in a study, 90% of U.S. adults do not know what palliative care is. However, when told the definition, more than 90% say that they would want it for themselves or their family members if terminally ill. In Oregon's Death with Dignity program, a total of 1,127 patients ingested the prescription. In 2016, 543 of these cases had unknown complications, 6 of which regained consciousness after ingestion. This proves that itself is an unreliable source of death with dignity. My opponent Sandy also addressed that with proper care, drug mishaps are low. The evidence on that claim, there is no evidence on that claim. Patients ingest that on their own and at their own chosen time. A physician is not required to be present to direct the ingestion, so the claim cannot be true. In Oregon, all PAS prescriptions are written by only 3% of state physicians, with the average duration of these physician-patient relationships being only about 3% long. A U.S. study found that 24 physicians regretted being involved with PAS, with 16% reporting that the emotional burden of performing PAS had adversely affected their medical practice. PAS has proven to adversely affect the physicians involved. Lack of willingness to participate by the required personnel means that PAS itself cannot be performed. This itself challenges the idea of autonomy. Patients under PAS safeguards are dependent upon actions of at least 5 accomplices in ending their life. This requires 2 consulting physicians, 2 consenting witnesses, and 1 pharmacist. While the choice may be out of desire for autonomy, the act itself is not autonomous. A choice for autonomy does not equate to the act of physician-assisted suicide being in autonomy. More than 80% of patients ingest without physician supervision, which makes the act supposedly autonomous, but rather just endangers the practice of medicine. The Center of Bioethics and Philosophy of Medicine says, autonomy and suffering are the usual justifications for change. The autonomy argument is thin. In all legislatures, the final decision for PAS rests with the doctor. Patients' perception of total control is illusory. Thank you.